Egan Bernal is back in action on domestic duties in Catalunya. Great to see. This was a sort of transition sprint stage, 190 Ks going down towards Sabadell from the north of Catalonia to the north of Barcelona. And it was probably going to be a sprint, although we had a strong breakaway. Andrea de la Cruz, Train, Peters, Juliansen, a lot of those are really experienced breakaway riders. Peters has won think Tour de France stage from the breakaway. Tollett was controlling with Cofidis with Alpecin. So Ineos going for Hayter, Israel going with Williams pacing for Strong, Alpecin for Caden Groves. Now, I have a favour to ask. Don't ask many. If you like cycling, if you're a degenerate cycling fan, which if you're watching a Catalunya sprint stage, I'm guessing I'm talking to the right people. I have a favour to ask. Go and check out the Lanterne Rouge cycling podcast. If you like this content, you'll be sure to like it. We have coverage of every World Tour and Women's World Tour race. We have previews, recaps, all that jazz in long form straight after every stage. You can subscribe to it on YouTube or you can check it out on the podcast players of your choice. But anyway, Egan Bernal, he was pacing, controlling the gap to the breakaway, doing a good job in concert with Castroviejo and Alpecin. And I mean, he's looking svelte. He's looking good. If I had to guess, he'd do the Vuelta this year as long as his recovery continues going well. I think the Tour and Giro seems to be a little bit too soon. But the break was in hand, 40 seconds with 17 Ks to go. And then it went out a bit to 50 seconds. And then as they got into town, it was still 25 seconds with 8 Ks to go. It was kind of like you can see Ineos got loads of numbers. They decided, all the teams decided, well, we got the break in check. Why burn our lead out catching the breakaway? We'll just catch them right at the end. And that's what seemed to have happened with Bernal still pacing at the end. Alpecin still pacing with numbers. And in fact, I mean, Lotto still had 4 or 5 riders, but the break disintegrated and it was sort of quick step pacing to the 3 kilometer mark with Masnada and Catania for Remco that spelled the end of the breakaway. They brought them back with just under 5 Ks to go. And we got a sharp-ish right-hander, a couple of them in this finish. It's like not that technical as sprint finishes go, particularly some you might see in, I don't know, Italian race or whatever. It's got a couple of right-handers. But in the sprint field's not that deep. You've got Groves, Coquard, Strong, Menton, who's been good for Lotto Destiny in the last couple of weeks, and Ethan Hayter, who Ineos have been riding for. But in this shot, I don't know if he had a mechanical or something or what happened. I can't see him. On the right-hand side, I think supposed to be his lead out with Castroviejo and Puccio. And on the left is G, who might also be doing a lead out, might also just be keeping himself safe. But no, Ethan Hayter in the first, let's say 20 riders. Groves is in a nice little pocket just behind Lotto Destiny, I think maybe Van Hills, and they're following Remco Evenepoel's wheel. Arna Marit is here for Intermarché. Strong is brought up on the right-hand side by Israel, who did quite a nice lead out, and it's Roglic jumping ahead with 2.4 Ks to go. Further proof, 3 kilometer rule needs to be banned. It serves no purpose. Arashiro, one of my favourite riders on the front for Bahrain, because riders, they're still trying to quote-unquote keep their GC riders safe, which Foss did a really good job of it. I think that's him on the front this week he has. But then why does the 3 kilometer rule exist is my question to you. Caden Groves in the middle. He just had good position, always in first 10 wheels for this run-in, not having to do any crazy efforts. I mean, he obviously got to, sprint out the corners and everything, but just kept in good position by Alpecin, giving him the best possible chance to win this stage. Even if he didn't have the final big last lead-out man, it's almost more important to have the bread toasted first before you can put the butter on it. He put the butter on the bread himself. Anyway, Trek going through this right-hander. Mark Rastenga, allegedly they're going for, I think, Venturini here. And here's where it gets interesting for Bora Hansgrohe. They've got 3 riders. Vandal, Schelling, Conrad. Schelling is the quickest. That's clear. Saw that on stage 1, even though Conrad crashed. Conrad, I think, is getting on the radio. I don't know what to say. And Schelling is ahead of his lead out, if indeed he is who they are to be leading out. And he obviously doesn't want, at 450 meters to go, to be dropped off in the wind. So he's flicking. And Conrad's sort of trying to move up, but he can't because of Alpecin's pace. And then Schelling gives him a bit more encouragement. And then I think, is it Conrad? Conrad tries, but he can't. He just has to sit down. And Israel with, I think, Bovin on the barrier side start their lead out. So Schelling lost a lot of momentum, then has to sprint back up to speed onto Groves' wheel. Strong given a pretty good lead out. Groves, though, he's on Strong's wheel. He looks over, sees Lecoq launching. You got to fear that. Immediately slides over as he gets level onto his wheel and gets the perfect draft. He made his own lead out. He was on Strong. When Israel brought him up, he switches off to Coquard. When he begins his sprint, he comes out of his wheel right at the end to nail him on the line by about half a wheel. So really calm, collected performance from Groves, always in good position. And like he is probably the best pure bunch sprinter of these guys. He's one of Volta stage. A lot of these guys are more sort of reduced bunch sprinters. I would say Strong is, Schelling is particularly, but you still got to do the business. And I was very happy to see an Antipodean or Anzac 1-3 at Catalunya today. Coquard in the middle, Schelling maybe wondering what might have been, but at least he's in good shape. Can't wait to see him in the Ardennes. In fourth, then Venturini, Vandal, Aberasturi, Menton, Marit, and Velasco, who won a stage, I think, in Valenciana, rounding out the top 10. Here's what Groves had to say after the stage.
Oh, very happy. It's been a tough year so far, and to get a win, it's fantastic feeling, especially after a lot of hard work by the team today.
Can you tell us a bit more about the sprint finish? It was a close battle between you and Brian.
Yeah, exactly. It was fairly straightforward run in, a couple of corners. Wasn't too technical, and I think being a hard day, there was only a few guys who could contest the finish, and all day we had the headwind. So then when we come into the street and a bit more protected, it went super fast, and then in a finish like this, I knew I had to time it right, and let him go first, and then I had to come over the top.
But I hope you enjoyed the video. Go and check out the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. As I said, I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Give it a try and let me know how you like it. Until tomorrow's stage where Remco's going to go crazy. Ciao.